The services that we have seen so far can give us maximum availability designed for that particular service. But how about scalability? My business needs 5 servers during normal days, but during Christmas sale or Black Friday sale or any festive sale, I need 50 servers. Can my existing products or my on-premise environment can scale up to 50 from 5? The answer is no. Hence, we need a new product in cloud, which is virtual machine ScaleSet, and that is what we are going to learn in this particular module. But before understanding more about virtual machine ScaleSet as a product, we will go to whiteboard and try to understand more about scalability and what are all the different types of scaling which is available. So, what is scalability and how is it different from elasticity? Scalability is the ability to move from 1 to 100. And the reverse procedure is your elasticity. Scalability is possible even in your on-premise environment. The only thing is you need to wait for few months to get all these servers and few more months to deploy some people and few more months to keep all these servers up and running. But how about elasticity? Once my business is over, can I bring it back to 1? It's impossible in my on-premise environment. Hence, scalability and elasticity is possible only with cloud and not with your on-premise environment. And we have two types of scaling. The first one is vertical scaling, and the second one is horizontal scaling. Vertical scaling is if I have one core CPU and 4 GB memory machine, this is a particular VM. Can I upgrade this configuration to the next level? Yes, that is called vertical scaling. Here I'm going for 2 core machine and 16 GB memory. This movement is your vertical scaling, and this is also called scale up and scale down. The exact opposite is horizontal scaling, which is very important to understand virtual machine scale set concept. Horizontal scaling is I'm starting with one virtual machine. When there is a need, I'm going for another virtual machine and then another and then another. So with identical configuration. I'm not touching my first machine and upgrading it to the next level, which is scale up. Rather, I'm scaling out. This procedure is called scale out. Here, we call it as scale out and scale in. Once my business is over, my fourth server gets deleted, third server gets deleted, second server gets deleted, and finally I get my one server where exactly I have started from. This procedure is called scale out and scale in. Here I have only one machine and I'm upgrading that one machine. At the end, I have still one machine but with a different configuration. Here I'm starting with one machine and I'm moving towards 4 machines, and once my job is done, I'm coming back to one machine. This type of scaling is called horizontal scaling. So if you're not really very happy about your existing configuration in your organization, be it cloud or be it on-premise, you need to understand which scalability is suitable for you, either vertical or horizontal. With this understanding, we will try to understand how virtual machine scale set works. For this, there are certain parameters which are important. The first one is minimum instance, and the second one is maximum instance. The third one is metrics, and the fourth one is time. What are all these? We will see one by one. The first one is minimum instance. How many virtual machine do I need to start with? I'm going to start with only one virtual machine, and we will also do the same thing in lab. Whatever I'm explaining here in this page, we will do it in lab and then you will understand it better. I'm starting with minimum instance, which is 1. So I'm going to write it in a different color, which is 1. In Azure, the virtual machine scale set can scale up to 1000 VMs. In one virtual machine scale set, if I start with the base virtual machine of one image, it can go up to 1000 virtual machines as a part of horizontal scaling. But is it really my budget? Can I control? Yes, here my budget is going to be only 4. So it can scale up to 4 machines, and this is my fourth machine, and I'm going to stop until 4. So my maximum instance is going to be 4. But what if the load is beyond fourth machine? If all of my 4 machines get overloaded, my application and my machines crash. Here, in this particular situation, I'm fine with that. But at any given point of time, I'm not ready to pay for fifth virtual machine. This is my customer's requirement, or this is my requirement. So here we have filled the minimum instance and maximum instance. Meanwhile, I have seen some of the environment wherein they have started with 100 instance and maximum is 1000 instance. It's purely up to your customer's requirement, business as well as the budget. The third one is metrics. How am I going to calculate the scalability? So here I have two different broad categories. One is manual, another one is custom. What is manual? I know the next Saturday is going to be a big day for me. So only on that day, on Saturday at 12 a.m., I'm going to make it from 1 to 4. That is manual, wherein I have 100% control. But in custom, I have again two categories, time bound and metrics related. Time bound, every Saturday, I have very good business. And only on Saturdays, I want my one virtual machine to scale up to 4 virtual machines. You can make it as a custom so that you don't have to log into your machine every Friday night and change. On the other hand, I don't have that type of requirement at all. I don't know when am I going to get maximum business. It may be today, or it may be suddenly the next week, or continuously for 5 days I may not get business. In that case, the wise idea is to go for metrics related. You have many metrics that you can choose. Here I'm going to pick up CPU utilization. That's a wise way to calculate the utilization of all these 4 servers or any number of servers that you are going to choose. And if I choose CPU utilization, how will my virtual machine scale set function? Meanwhile, I'm going to write the CPU utilization here, which is my third point related to metrics. What exactly happens here when I choose CPU utilization? I need to define my scalability option here. If the CPU utilization is greater than 75% plus one machine. If it is less than 25% minus one machine. If I give this particular metric to my first virtual machine, wherein maximum of 75 and minimum of 25, if it is 75 plus 1, if it is 25 minus 1. I'm going to start with one virtual machine. By default, even if you start with one virtual machine, it comes with an inbuilt load balancer, which is nothing but your public load balancer. One end of the public load balancer is internet facing, and the other end, which is the back end pool, is internal facing. So internet facing and internal facing. This is your public load balancer. By default, the load balancer starts to watch the CPU utilization of the first virtual machine. When the CPU goes beyond 75%, it monitors for few minutes, which can be controlled, and it creates the second virtual machine automatically without any manual intervention. Again, as an administrator, if you would like to know this, you can actually enable mobile notification or email notification. Now, load balancer has two machines, and load balancer equally distributes the load to the processors. It's not like 50% here and 25% here. It's distributed equally. And once both the machine hits 75%, the third machine comes up. And now the load balancer has three machines to watch out. Once all these machines together get 75 percentage, which is 75, 75, and 75, the fourth machine gets created. And this is how exactly the virtual machine scale set works. Now here you may have few questions. Can I control the time? When there is a 75 percentage of hit in the CPU utilization, load balancer usually watches it for minimum of 5 minutes. You can control it. Here I have picked it up as 5 minutes. You can choose up to 1 hour, which is 60 minutes also, which we will see in the examination lab. But keep it as low as possible, which is 5 minutes, because in order to create a second virtual machine, it takes another 5 minutes. So you guessed it right. That is the actual drawback of virtual machine scale set. So 5 minutes of monitoring of CPU utilization and 5 minutes to create the second virtual machine. 10 minutes of latency. Latency is the only problem in virtual machine scale set. How can I bridge it? Or virtual machines the right set of products for me? If you want to bridge this gap and make it zero, you need to go for Azure Kubernetes Service. Or you even have Azure Service Fabric. You have web apps, you have mobile apps, you have batch. There are many other compute products within Azure. What we are learning in this module as per 104 certification is different variants of virtual machine. Now, with this understanding, we will look into the slides and we will move on to the lab. This is the base machine for the customer. The customer is starting with a set of three machines here, and then as and when the demand increases, it goes up, which is my scale out, and when the demanding decreases, it scales in. Here we are not getting a new SKU of virtual machine. If I'm starting with the DS1 V2 series of virtual machine, the second machine I get is the identical VM. It is not going to be an H series or L series. It is the same machines with same configuration. As a customer, you are responsible for horizontal scaling of your application. This is an IaaS product, so Microsoft gives you only the hardware infrastructure, and regarding your scalability of your code, scalability of your application, scalability of your security, as a customer, you need to take care of it. Again, here is where I'm going to ask the same question repeatedly. Do you really need virtual machine scale sets, or are you happy with Kubernetes? There is also one more concept we need to understand, which is called over provisioning. As per this example, here is the base machine, which is 2. The customer is starting from 2 machines and maximum is 5, because that is the maximum limitation from the customer side, either maybe based on business or maybe based on the budget. When both my virtual machine is overloaded, Azure creates my third virtual machine. Well, this is my third virtual machine. In order to give me the third virtual machine, Microsoft creates 2 more machines. Overall, in order to create one machine, Microsoft is creating 3 machines. It's called over provisioning. Whichever machine comes up first will be given to me. That is my third machine. So this concept is called over provisioning. During the lab, you will see the same thing, wherein we will start with one virtual machine. In order to get my second virtual machine, Microsoft creates 3 different images. Let's assume that the third image is coming up first. Immediately, Microsoft decommissioned these 2 machines, and the third image will be given as a second machine for me. That's a very good initiative by Microsoft. And this is the page wherein we will implement auto scaling. Instead of looking at the screenshot, let's do one thing. Why not doing the same thing as a lab? So join me in this lab.